Hey guys, and welcome to part 44 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last part we got our last gym badge, and I promised that we would go after some legendary Pokemon, but before doing that, for this part we're going to be doing something a bit different. It's an optional thing, you don't have to do it at all. I mean, pretty much all of this is optional up to this point, but you don't have to do this at all. But I do want to show it off because it turns out, even though we beat our rival Satan, just before we did the Elite Four, if you come here to Mount Moon, or I'm heading towards Mount Moon, you can fight him there, which is a really cool thing. And I have to say, on the way to Mount Moon there's a stupid amount of trainers, so yeah, I'm kind of sorry that a lot of this beginning part is me fighting all these trainers, because I tried really hard to avoid them, but of course, you know, this route is based off the original route. And the whole point in the original route is that it's training you up so you can take on the next gym, and so you can only avoid so many gym or so many trainer battles, which is kind of annoying. I wish they would have changed that for this version, because I mean, come on, look at my Pokemon, they're badass. I don't need to fight these youngsters with their level 42 Arbrox. Wow, they're... What did he get that? Did he get like an Ekans when he was like 2? I mean, Jesus, that's a lot of training. Jesus. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing that at the beginning, but I'm going to talk about the rival in this game, because I kind of touched upon it, but the rival in this game is easily, well, not easily the best, but I think is the best, because it's just pretty interesting that you're both trying to ultimately do the same thing. You're both trying to get stronger and get stronger Pokemon and beat the Elite Four, but he's doing it without compassion. I don't want to get too deep into this because it's not that deep really, and I don't want to sound like a douchebag on YouTube, but yeah, so he, you know, you're meant to be the kind one and he's supposed to be the one that's like, yeah, get stronger, that's all I care about. So because it's a really weird world they create, that apparently that they present this thing that love makes you strong. God, I do sound like a douchebag. But yeah, that's the whole message of Pokemon, is that anyone can become strong with enough love and care, and you can just try and become strong, but without love and care, you're not going to become, you know, you're not going to do a good job. And that's kind of reflected the most in this game, or I think this is probably the game where they pushed that the most, because in the first generation you had Gary, but Gary didn't mistreat his Pokemon, he was just your child rival. That's why it was called the rival, because it wasn't a big thing. But then in this game they made a big push to have this philosophy about love and care, and they represented it using the other rival in this game. So I mean, overall I do really like it, and it's kind of interesting, and it's I mean, it's the fact that that's the message they were going for is what makes the other rivals make sense. Because the other rivals kind of suck because they're all your friends and it's all nice, but it's the same point, it's just coming at it from the other angle, the same point of love and care and all that, but instead of, you know, showing the other side of it, they just stick to the side that you're meant to represent in this game. And one thing that I think is really cool about the rival is how they represented him in the anime. Because in the anime, it's this rival called Paul, and it's this super tough guy, and he's like, I don't like you, Ash. And Ash is like, hey, touch my Pikachu. And it's all well and good, but I really like those seasons of the anime. I haven't seen all the seasons. I've seen season 1, 2, and then I kind of skipped out to about season 6, and then I've seen like 6 to about season 10, and then I've seen season 13, I think 14, or I've seen all the new episodes of the black and white, or of the 5th generation. So that's how many episodes I've seen, and the best ones by far are the ones based in generation 4 that involve Dawn and Paul. And the reason is because, well, to get Dawn out of the way, because I don't want to go too off topic here, but Dawn is really interesting because they had her suck. Like, she's pretty much May, but she sucks even more. And that's why it's really interesting. Because Dawn was alright, but she's just kind of, you know, she was just exactly what you can expect. Oh, it's a woman, she has self-doubt and all that. But Dawn actually did suck. Because she loses 2 contests in a row and then gets super depressed about it. Again, I don't want to overanalyze the anime because it is kind of a kids show about catching Pokemon and friendship or whatever, but yeah, and then she gets super depressed about that, and it's really kind of, you know, it's not super deep, but it's kind of interesting that they went as dramatic as they went for those seasons. And then they went even more dramatic with Paul, because it's not just Ash's rival. They then go into the whole philosophy that they were trying to establish in this game. And it's part of the reason why I mentioned it about love and care against just brutal strength, you know. If you've watched The Karate Kid, it's the same message. And I think that's pretty interesting. And the fact that they had Paul and like the whole Chimchar storyline, that's like kind of a lot more dramatic and cool than you would expect from the Pokemon anime. You know, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, that whole Chimchar thing, they tried to replicate it with Tepig, and it kind of fell flat. I mean, the new season's alright, but they're not as good as... They're trying to do what they did with the 4th season with Dawn and Paul, and it's just not as good, you know. I don't want to get that deep into the anime, because I don't like anime. I just kind of think it sucks. It's just not my... or it's not my thing. So I kind of do feel a bit silly getting too into the Pokemon anime, even though I have watched it a lot, because I am 20 years old and I should grow up and stop watching cartoons about, you know, pocket monsters from Japan, because ultimately it is a kids show. And when I, you know, download the videos and then see that it's on the Cartoon Network and it says in the corner Ben 10 coming up because someone's recorded it off the TV, I just think, I need to grow up. But I do still like it. You know, I get in, like, because I get in the Pokemon mood. I'm really sorry that I'm off topic, but there's nothing going on in this at the moment until we actually get into Mount Moon. But yeah, I just get into these Pokemon phases, you know, where I'm playing Pokemon games, it's really awesome, and then I kind of want to, you know, do something off of that, so I end up watching the anime when I'm playing through Pokemon games. It's why, when I was LPing Pokemon Emerald, I went back and watched the Generation 3 episodes, or some of them at least, and then I went and did the Generation 4 episodes after that, and then I kind of got put off it. But now that I'm LPing SoulSilver, I kind of got back into the Pokemon mood again, and also because of Black and White 2. So yeah, so that's why I'm watching the anime again. But now I'm all caught up, so I mean, whoop-de-doo, I guess. So yeah, so now we got through that really tedious stuff. I don't know why they make you do it, but we can now go into the new Mount Moon, because they kind of redid it all. Although straight away, as soon as you come in here, we have Satan. He's just waiting in Mount Moon, I guess. That's where he likes to hang out. He likes Paris, I suppose, Paracet. So yeah, so this is the final battle against your rival. It's not the final battle technically, but it pretty much is, because if you won, this game has this whole rematch system that they started introducing in the, I want to say 3rd gen, but it was really pushed big in the 4th gen, where certain trainers you can go back and fight them again. So this fight, I like the idea that you get to battle this guy again for one kind of final confrontation. And they added this into this version. It wasn't in the original version of Gold and Silver, so that's pretty cool. But what's really disappointing about this fight is that it's the same fight. It's not literally the same fight, but it's really similar to the one you already did. And I would have liked it if it was like this own separate challenge, because the big battle you can do at the end, I don't want to spoil that, it's its own separate challenge and feels like a milestone if you do it. That's how you know that you've beaten the whole game 100%, if you can do that battle. And I wanted them to do a similar thing here, and he's not even that strong at all. Like, Gary is a lot stronger than him, or Blue, I guess I should say, is a lot stronger than this guy, which, I mean, it's fine, it's cool, but if they were going to have another battle against this guy, it's like the final battle, you know, you've been fighting this guy in the whole game, he's a bad dude, he steals Pokemon, he sucks, but you beat him and you're stronger than him. They should have made this guy stronger. They should have made this battle, like, a lot harder than it was. I wanted this battle to be harder than Blue was. I wanted this to be harder than any of the gym leaders, but it's exactly the same. But the thing is, why I think it's odd is because this battle isn't something you probably won't just run into him. I mean, if you don't use the internet or use a guide or watch this video, then, you know, you won't know he's there, so he might do, but going through Mount Moon isn't required at all. So the chances are, if you come here, you're going to be going out of your way to fight this guy, so why not make it more of an occasion? Why not make it so this is also kind of an objective to beat your rival again? You know, because he is supposed to be getting stronger and stronger, and then, you know, just make it a bit more of an event, just make it hard. You know, because if you beat him before, you know, if I'm going to give tips for this battle, I guess, if you could beat him before, you can easily beat him now, because of course you would have gone through a lot more. I think technically as soon as you got to Pewter City you could have come to Mount Moon, but you don't go to Pewter City straight away, because to get through Diglett's Cave you have to get rid of the Snorlax, which once again makes it really confusing. Why is your rival and this version of your rival a low level? If you had to, I mean, maybe you can get through Mount Moon in the other way, because one of the cool things about Mount Moon is that they've redone it. Instead of being this massive kind of labyrinth, it's not really that big, but when you first play Mount Moon it's really big. Instead of being like super big labyrinth, it's now pretty small, which I think is quite nice, you know, don't really want to get lost in it. But yeah, I mean, I think there was just more they could have done, especially because this rival is really big. But I will say this, that there is another event. I mentioned it before, so I think I'm going to go into detail of exactly what it was. The Selby event that I wanted to do, where if you got a special event Selby, you could go to a shrine and trigger an event where it shows 3 years in the past what happened with Silver and Giovanni. Because Giovanni isn't in this game at all. But it's revealed with this that Satan, or your rival, is actually the son of Giovanni, which was something they put in the manga, and now it's official because it's in this game as part of an event challenge, which I don't like at all. I really don't like that idea. It's just a really unnecessary idea. I like the idea of them having a special event to reveal what happened to Giovanni 3 years ago, but why have the rival be involved? I think it's kind of a bit dumb. Like, there's just no need for it. It's just sandwiching them together for no need. I'm sure in the manga it probably made sense. I don't read the manga, I never have and probably never will, but I'm sure in there they kind of set up the characters differently, because with the manga and anime they're different characters, they're just based on the games, so they can do different stuff and all that, so I'm sure it makes sense there, but I don't think it does in this game. I mean, he does kind of act a bit like Team Rocket, and he does say he hates Team Rocket because he hates the weak, but I don't know, it's just a really unnecessary thing, and because it's just annoying with this fight, because they could have done something big, because this was like the rival that was the one that probably stands out most to people. Obviously if you don't play the games, then Gary probably stands out more to you. If you say only played a couple of the games, then Gary's the classic one, because he was the original rival. But this one, to the fans of the Pokemon series, I would say this one, well, it does to me, this rival is the one that stands out. So if you were going to add in a new battle to do it, wouldn't you make it like as a final statement for the rival? Like this final kind of, like add a conclusion to his storyline? Because his storyline is that he kind of does realise that maybe just being angry and punching you all ghastly won't make him do what you want him to do. It'll get you there, but it won't go all the way. So I think they could have done a bit more with this doing that. Because you see, he's kind of nice now, because of course this is all new dialogue, and it's the people, you know, it's with the 4th gen kind of attitude in mind rather than the 2nd gen attitude in mind, this dialogue. So now he's just kind of nice, which is weird. He wouldn't like just become nice. You know, he doesn't become flat out nice like a flower child, but he just becomes really kind of friendly towards you. I would have liked it if he might have realised that my way was, or the, you know, caring way was the better way, but he wouldn't like you. He wouldn't turn around and be like, hey Dom, you're a pretty cool guy, you know what, I've hated you this whole time, I kind of, you know, I've fought you repeatedly, I've called you names, I've insulted you this whole time, but you know what, I'm now deciding that you're a pretty cool guy because you beat up my Pokemon. Like, it's just, I can't quite remember the dialogue, but yes, your training is not good enough. Because, there we go. So yeah, so he goes off the Dragon's Den. If you ever want to fight him again, then you can go there, and there's some cool thing that you can do there, but I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not going to show that off, because yeah, there's tons of rematches you can do in this game with all the different gym leaders, but I'm going to say it right here, right now, I'm not going to do any of them because they're just rematches, so it would be really boring, and it would just be artificial padding to the LP, because I won't enjoy doing it, you guys probably won't enjoy seeing it, so yeah, so this is Mount Moon. There's not that much to be seen here, but I looked this up, coincidentally this happened, but if you come here on Mount Moon, because there's a little shop you can hang out there, if you come here on a Monday night at 8 PM at night, after 8 PM, this happens, and I coincidentally was recording on Monday night and managed to capture it. So yeah, this only happens on Monday night, no other nights, and it has to be past 8 PM, and you'll see a load of Kafaris dancing, which it's a really nice touch, you know. Most of these, events that you can only see at a specific time I don't like, but this is one of these small ones which is cool if you see it, but if you don't see it you're not missing out. So that's, me showing it off. It's a really good way to get a moonstone if you need one, so I now have a moonstone. I guess that's pretty cool. And with that, I guess it's time to end of the part. So next time in Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver for the DS, we will start catching legendary Pokemon. So I've been on Song 23, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.